1, 2, there you go. That's a nice way, yeah? Cool. Hi everyone, this is Emiliano Caballero
And David Miles Huber together.
for the first time in Seattle, here at Dave's studio. I arrived to Seattle a few days ago to visit Dave, and we've been hanging out, talking live, and the video that we are bringing you today, I think it's a special one. It's a life lesson video. I incorporated that into my everyday life when I met Dave, and I just want you to hear it from him and let us know how you think about it, if this is something that resonates with you, and thank you for being here.
So okay, I'll take it off because this is sort of my thing. Let me start off with a story. A long time ago, where was I? I was at a tape op conference a long time ago, and a good friend of mine who worked for the Grammy organization. She walked into the room looking all sad, and she broke down crying. And I'm like, "Why are you crying?" She goes, and she took out her basically wallet, and let it drop. And there were about 12 credit cards, and she said they're all maxed out. And I'm like, "What? They're all maxed out?" And she goes, "Yes, I don't know what to do." I'm like, and I'm like, and I sat her down and I said, "Listen." And this has nothing to do with technology. This has nothing to do with, this is just a story. And something that I think I've incorporated, and I think Emiliano's incorporated pretty much, is the concept that the bank works for you, you don't work for the bank. This is not easy stuff. This is hard stuff. And this is life stuff. As Dan, my partner, would say, if you make more than you spend, you're rich. If you make less than you spend, you're poor. And this is the thing, is like whenever I walk into a bank, and I don't know where I got this. I think I got it from me. And maybe some other people who were just, I come from an old family, and I was raised in the Depression. My family was raised in the Depression era, and a long time ago. And so this idea that saving money and building up resources early is not an easy thing, but if you can do it, it will help you at a later time where you're not going to the bank from a position of, please help me, I need to get out of this situation. You help yourself, you build up what they call a nest egg. This is not easy stuff. And it basically comes from the concept of savings. And when you build up that savings, then all of a sudden life becomes easier, I think. And it's a concept that can really sort of help you through life. And when you walk into the bank, you don't walk into something that they're helping you. Well, not you are, they're there for you. You are not there for them to service them, to make money for them. You're their worst nightmare. Whenever somebody pays off a credit card every month, I think it's technically called a deadbeat. It's, you're a deadbeat, which means you're paying it off. They're not making any money off of you at all, or interest or anything. And I always do. And so so it's coming from a different viewpoint, and whether I'm simply telling you that this viewpoint exists, nothing more, nothing less. And for me, I started out, as the author of Modern Recording Techniques, now we both are, but started out, basically just, at that time, books were more something you could really make money off of, like you could be a rock star if you were careful. Again, from a rock star standpoint, you could go use a studio, buy girls, buy drugs, buy sex, buy everything, and then all of a sudden you're in debt, and you spent all of your before your advance money, and all of a sudden you are in the hole and you are indebted to the record label. The other way of looking at that would be, hey, why don't I build a recording studio? Mm-hmm. You know, if you're a major band, the first thing you're going to do is, I'm going to build a recording studio and I can start paying myself. And so all of a sudden the advances go towards yourself and it changes. So this whole concept, you know, and that freedom, and it's financial freedom. You know, what really is a project studio? It's time freedom, personal freedom, and financial freedom. That's what a project studio, a home studio really is. Any thoughts about that?
Touching on the freedom, I think one of the main aspects that not stressing out about your everyday life in terms of finances creates a space in your mind to be creative, to operate from a different wavelength, a different vibration, a different mental state, where you don't operate maybe from scarcity or fear. Mm-hmm. You are approaching life from a more balanced perspective. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that it's better, but I do think that that mindset contributes to the creative output, because at least in my experience, I think it's really hard to be creative when there's a lot of external pressure, life pressure, not creative pressure. Right. Not pressure of like you have to deliver the master. No, it's like, okay, we have to pay rent.
Right.
And that, I think it's something that in the industry is not very talked about, but I think especially in the creative industry, creatives, we are not known for our financial knowledge.
Nobody talks about this. Nobody teaches this.
Exactly. So I think teaching yourself life skills, like, you know, what is debt, how does interest work, does savings work, how securities work, how can you create the life for yourself that will allow you to have the most optimal creative output? That's for me the question.
If there to wrap this up, because we don't want to make it very long, but I do want to say one last thing. And I think, believe it or not, for me, and I say this with all the caveats that they always say, is this is not financial advice. They always say, you know, this is not financial advice, but believe it or not, when money comes in, I honestly believe you can have convictions. And that is when you believe in something, when you believe in, now I'm talking about the stock market, which is something that you should do way later, if maybe never at all. But if you ever do, I think, you know, I think the idea of convictions and studying what you're doing, studying what you're, you know, when you build up such and such amount and you go, okay, I want to go to another level, very, very carefully and very slowly, is that one can invest. But I honestly believe, and this is my personal opinion, that, you know, convictions fall into that. I invested in a company a long time ago that I believed in very strongly. And it went nuts. It went, over time, is now an entirely different ballgame. And as a result of investing, not everything, but a large amount, it has now turned into something that I never thought would ever be possible. And that actually came from my personal and moral convictions. And I think that also, you know, when you, first there's the level of protecting yourself and your family. Then there's the level of, okay, I've done that. I've gotten to this level. Now I'm talking to the 30% of you, really, who are at a different level of, you know, and I honestly believe that convictions and morality, believe it or not, and you can completely disagree with me, and that's okay, because you're not taking my advice, you're doing your own study and due diligence. And so, you know, but I think honestly, something that you believe in is also important. It's just what I believe.
So I think that was our video of today. The bank works for you. You don't work for the bank. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for being here with us. We'll keep expanding our videos, ideas, video topics. Maybe if you have suggestions, let us know in the comments what you want to see from us. And see you next time.
And please subscribe. Take care, you guys.